Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have some happy mail to share with you, and this is also my entry for the current Hello Bluebird challenge. It's a color challenge, the second one they organize now, and so last time I was just on the last day of the challenge, and now I decided to really get started immediately when I saw some inspiration by the design team on how to tackle this color challenge. Now the four colors you have to use are green, blue, yellow and red. It's actually a really all-round color challenge. I think you can use these colors for many occasions, so I just decided to take out a stem set from Hello Bluebird that I haven't used in a while and is just too cute to not use. So therefore I took the Besties stem set, and as it was already a long time ago, I decided also to do some no line coloring. So just to help me, I decided to start with my background. And normally I would draw in these tiny details as faces and such with a multi-liner. In this case I had these plants, and but I don't know exactly how to call it a stem. No, you know what I mean. And I found this Stabilo green, and it was perfect to combine with my Copic greens that I would use on the leaves. So therefore it was the ideal match, and it was really easy to use. Now this paper is Transotype perfect coloring paper, and as you saw me doing, I stamped this background image out using ink on 3 Fadeout no line coloring detail ink. Now there are many no line coloring inks out there. If I'm not wrong, I think ink on 3 was first, and so I got it as soon as I put my hands on it back then. I left it aside because it was really hard in the beginning, but once you get to know the no line coloring, actually it's alright. You know, you just have to start on it and see where it leads you, and you will improve every time you try it. Now, as I said, other brands also have it, so maybe you have another brand that's perfectly fine. And if you don't have any no line coloring inks, then there is always an option to take a really soft ink color that you will not really see the moment you start coloring. So sometimes you have a really faded gray ink or maybe a beige kind of ink. Definitely try using that if you want to have that no line coloring end result. Now for the sky area here, I went for some fresh blue colors. I am also not going to color this completely. I am flicking, and this way I'm trying to let it fade out into the white area. I'm also trying to do the flicking in the same direction. So in the beginning I started upwards because I really wanted to define that hill. Then I decided to go sideways for the left and right side of this image. And if I would redo this, chances are small, but if I would redo this, I would definitely try to do the same kind of flicking on the bottom as well. Now for the hill, I'm using exactly the same green combination as I did on the plants. It's a really fresh one. I also just recently got the yellow green 13, and I must admit that one is so gorgeous. I think I will use it a lot. Normally my combination was yellow green 17, 03 and 00. Well, I changed up the 17 to 13, and I got this completely different combination, although there's only one marker that changed. So many options depending on what you have, of course. You can change it up and have fun with your markers. So for the plants, as the other colors that I haven't featured so far are yellow and red, I decided to go with yellow. Why? Just because you can definitely also use reds or just a combination of the two. And if you're not doing the challenge, then of course you can go rainbow if you want to as well. So there are so many ways to recreate this card. Also, there is a die for this background, but the die is not leaving a hill really, it's cutting out the hill as well, but you don't have the grounding specifically. So therefore I decided to just add this background directly on my panel, and then later on add the images that I die cut. So for the flowers, I'm using the yellow combination that I will later on also use on one of the skirts of the bear. In that case, I'm just not using one marker here because the flowers are really tiny, and of course the t-shirt kind of thing is bigger. So therefore it's always handy if you have big images or big parts of images that you have several markers. But if you don't have several markers, don't forget that there is a tip-to-tip method. This way you can definitely have an in-between color as well. So I'm going to use these adorable two critters that are holding hands, and I'm stamping them out as well with some no-line coloring ink. This way everything fits together all in the no-line coloring theme or way. I'm stamping it multiple times to really help me see those lines clearly, and then we will start coloring that as well. I decided to start with the reds. It's the least forgiving color in this coloring hard, so if I would mess it up, it was only at the start. So once I get through the red combination and I haven't messed up my critters, I can continue with the rest. That's how I work. I tend to color first the parts that I find it most difficult, or the parts that can be the less forgiving ones of the whole coloring. And this way I know that once I succeeded, the rest will go smoothly or more easily than the first item that I started with. Also, I am one of those people that loves adding a second layer. I think it helps getting the blend. Sometimes you don't know how far you can go with your shadowing. Once you have added the first layer, you can already see that there is some wiggle room. So then I can add more if I want to with a second layer. So once I had that done, I started on the coloring of the critter itself. I decided to go with neutrals for the skins of this bunny and bear. I also contemplated whether I was going to do some sort of a Winnie the Pooh, because I just love Winnie the Pooh, and then this would be Piglet, so it would be pink. But just for the color challenge, I thought it would help me by just keeping it to the neutrals for the fur of these critters. So I'm just building my way from darkest to lightest marker. Any way works. It can be that you prefer starting with your lightest color and then build up from there. You do you, you just have fun. If you love the end result, if you had fun along the way, I think you're doing just what you need to do. For me, this works best, and I'm more confident when I try to go from darkest to lightest. Also, as you probably know, this is one of these combinations that I use all the time. It's a really soft brown color combination. Later on I will add one marker on top after doing the bear, just because there were some elements that weren't defined enough for me, but that's just personal preference. For the shadowing, I decided to have the light source centered for my images, well, for my critters here. So the bear has a shadowing on the right side, the bunny on the left side, and then the heart, I just decided one of the two, so that's why that was on the left side as well. So here for the bear, I decided to go with E47, E37, and E33. You can of course add more if you want to. But 3 markers most of the time are enough for me personally. Sometimes more, sometimes even less. It all depends on the size, on the difference between the markers. Sometimes you just need a marker to help with transition, so that can all change. And then I'm up for my second layer here. And I can go a bit further with the shadowing, also adding a bit of shadows on that left side of the tail, just to define it a bit more. And then again, working my way through the lightest color. So really simple, and as you probably saw, my darkest color right now for the bunny was E33. And that's the lightest color of the bear. So if you need a lot of brown markers for one giant image, for example, and you need one complete combination, you can use all of these markers for that big image that you might have. But as I said, I wanted to redefine a few elements, so that's why I added the E37 as well to the bunny. Just a few elements where there was a bit more shadowing going on, in my opinion. Just adding that. Not forgetting the head there. I thought everything was defined enough, but it's a bit weird if you have a really light head, you're not using your darkest marker there, and you are using it on all of the other parts of the image. So that's why I just introduced a slight bit of that E37 on the head as well. So a really simple combination that is easily just made bigger if you need to. And that is going to be my bunny. Now, as I said, colors here are red, yellow, green, and blue. Green and blue are already quite present in the background. We have yellow flowers, but of course we can add a little bit more. So here I'm also doing the yellow on the t-shirt of the bear. And I'm adding a fourth marker because it is quite a large part of this image as well. So as I said, this is for the Hello Bluebird Coloring Challenge 2. And last time, as I said, I was a bit, well, last minute with my inspiration. So this time I'm changing that. If I can, I will make another card, because I think you can actually participate a few times and then there is a winner randomly picked for a gift certificate of $50, I think, and that's quite a large amount, so I think it would be gorgeous to win that, and you can have a bit of fun with purchasing things with a bit of help of a gift certificate. It's always a bonus, because can we ever get enough of Hello Bluebird? I mean, it's adorable every time, again and again, and I cannot wait for the new release to launch. I actually have no clue currently when it will be released, but I cannot wait. So with all my images colored in, I used the matching dies to cut the heart and the critters out, and then I used one of the sentiments from this stamp set to stamp out on top of my panel here. Now the grounding wasn't large enough for me. I really wanted the grounding to peek from underneath the critters as well, so I just had to go a bit further than what I had originally, but that was easily done. So I'm just doing exactly the same as before. I added these two, well, grassy elements, but I didn't really like it, so no worries, the critters are going to cover that. And then once I'm happy with that background as well, I'm going to add all of these images using some thin foam squares. And then I will sort of place them centered on my card. And that will be it. It's just adhering this panel on a card base, and then this card is completely finished, featuring the 4 colors from this challenge. As I said, a really lovely color challenge to, well, use for any occasion you need. It's a really fresh combination, and I really love it. So I hope that this card can inspire you, and of course that you enjoyed this video, a bit of the no line coloring, that I might inspire you doing something similar or just have fun with this challenge. I had fun. Maybe I will have another go, but for now this is my card. I want to thank you all for stopping by and taking the time to watch this video. I truly appreciate you all. I hope that you have an incredible day, and I'll be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!